Hare Krishna.
Hare.
I welcome all of you to our this Sunday Bhagavad Gita session. And the objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. So we are on chapter 6 called Dhyan Yoga. And this chapter has got 5 sections. We are on the second section, which is the stages of Ashtanga Yoga and practices. Before we start, we'll summarize what we did in the last class. And in the last class, we did from shlok number 10 to shlok number 23. And we talked about, before that, we talked about 2 stages, Yoga Runa stage and so we talked about 2 stages, and we talked about what are the practices that is followed in the Yoga Runa stage. And we talked about that body, mind, and soul, they have to be in samadhi. And we talked about the person, the yogi, has to go to a secluded place. He has to be alone, free from all desire and possessiveness, and actually do the practices, right? Then from shlok number 11 to 14, we talked about basic practices of Ashtanga Yoga, right? So we said that what are the requirements for the yogi? He has to be sitting firmly in a not too high, not too low. He has to put the kusha grass and then put a deer skin or a tiger skin and then put a soft cloth, and that on that he has to sit straight with body, neck and mind basically in a straight line, and he has to fix the mind with his eyes looking at the tip of the nose, and then he has to meditate. He has to sit in the meditation pool and start meditating, right? This is what we talked about in the Yoga Runa stage, which is basically the advanced stage of Ashtanga Yoga, right? We talked about that there are 8 stages. The first 4 stage, which is Yam, Niyam, then Pranayam, and then we talked about Yam, Niyam, Asanas, Pranayam. These are the first 4 stage, which is the Aruruksha stage, and then the next 4 stage, which is the Aruna stage, which is from Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. These are the 8 stages, right? And what is the goal of Ashtanga Yoga? The goal is to get cessation of material existence and nirvana, like to reach the super soul. And then we talked about recommendation, 16th and 17th shlok, talked about the recommendation as Ashtanga Yoga. It said the yogi should not eat too much or eat too little, should not sleep too much, sleep too little, and has to follow the regulations, right? And then we talked about when he has arrived, then what is there? That's from shlok number 18 to 23. The yogi should have controlled the mind in such a way, the mind should be so much controlled, just like a lamp in a windowless place, in a windowless room. It doesn't flicker. Similarly, the yogi should be able to control his mind. And when he has controlled his mind and has reached the samadhi stage, then what happens? The realization happens. And what is the realization? He feels susukham, atyant happy, like too much of happiness he receives, and then he gets too much of peace and happiness, right? That's what we talked about in the last class. Today we'll start from shlok number 24 onwards, and the first 4 shloks are 24 to 28. This shlok talks about, so now it's a continuation, it talks about the yogi. He has to achieve this samadhi and to move forward, he has to have extreme faith and very, very high determination. Then only he can proceed forward, right? So let's go to the shlok number 24. Sa nischayena yoktavyo yogo nirvana chetasa sankalpa prabhavan kamas tyaktva sarvana anasheshata manasavindriya gramam Viniyamya samantatah. Sa nischayena yoktavyo. Yogo nirvana chetasa. Sankalpa prabhavan kamas. Tyaktva sarvan sheshatah. Manasevendriya gramam. Viniyamya samantatah. Padaji. Sanischayena yoktavyo. Yogo nirvana chetasa. Sankalpa prabhavan kamas. Tyaktva sarvan sheshata. Manasevendriya gramam. Viniyamya samantatah. So here we are the yogi, to move forward, he has to have Nishchayam yoktavyo. Nishchayam means determination. He has to have strong determination. Yogo nirvana chetasa. And with that strong determination, he has to engage himself in the yoga practices and deviate from the path. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman. Kaman is the lust and the other fruitive material activities. So with sankalp, with great determination, he has to Tyaktva, he has to leave all the fruitive activity. Sarvan sheshata. And not only just leave, there should be nothing left. Mana sevendriya gramam. Man, and along with sa indriya, all the indriyas, along with that, it should be senses, it should be completely controlled from all the sides. So let's read this, the meaning in English. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Right? So here the Krishna says that the yogi has to have, now the yogi, we said in the previous slok we learned, the yogi has to go to forest, he has to go alone, and he has to be seated in a very tough environment. He's going to be seated. Now there, when he's sitting, imagine the yogi is sitting in the forest, and then he has to move forward. So he has to have a faith, determination, extreme determination inside. And then it talks about that. Now think about the mind. The mind, it has got, it actually it absorbs things from the external world as well as the internal things. It happens, right? So the yogi has to be so strong that at that point of time in the forest, the senses from the external is still under control, but the yogi will have internal desires, whatever he has experienced in the past. Yeah, he will basically be challenged by the internal. If the mind is not controlled, the old desires, which is because of the previous experiences he had, or because of the previous birth he had, those desires will actually start troubling him. So but he has to be extremely strong to control his mind from all sides, so that he is able to focus forward, right? So here Prabhupada talks about the story of to talk about the determination, he talks about the story of a sparrow and an ocean. So once a sparrow, what she did was, on the in the beach, in the bank of the ocean there, what she did, she actually laid some eggs, and the waves came, and it took the eggs inside. Now when the eggs were taken inside, the sparrow got very annoyed and asked the ocean to give back the eggs, right? Asked the ocean to give back the eggs. But the ocean, I mean, who bothers about the sparrow eggs? It is just, continually coming and going. And Sparrow got very, very angry. He said, if you will not return my egg, I am going to dry you up. I'm going to dry you up. And what she started doing is she started picking up one by one drop of water and started drinking. And the sparrow continued that with her showing her anger to take away, to get her back the eggs. She kept on drinking each and each drop by drop by drop by drop, started continually drinking the ocean. And her anger continued with determination. Now, looking at her determination, which continued for days and days and days together, Garuda got very, very impressed and came and said, okay, now because of her determination, I'll have to help. And then Garuda threatened the ocean that either you return back the eggs or I will dry you up. And then the ocean actually gave back the eggs. Now, with this story, actually, it's an analogy. What Prabhupada is trying to explain to us, that the ocean is like the Maya. It's our lust, anger, greed. It's a thick covering. And the eggs are nothing but the love of God. So the love of God is in our heart. It's there in the heart, but it is covered by so many desires and so many, lust, anger, greed. It's covered with all of that. It's very, very difficult to remove this covering to get the love of the God. It's extremely difficult to get that. Yeah. But then, and we are just like a sparrow, a bird. Yeah, we are so, I mean, you can imagine us to be a sparrow in that, but if we have very, very strong determination and we continue doing our devotional service of chanting the God's name, and with great faith and determination, if we continue to purify ourselves by removing each and every cover of lust, anger, greed from our life, what will happen? Finally, we cannot dry up the ocean, but we will have the mercy of the God, which will help us to remove those covering and purify ourselves. And finally, we will get the love of God. Okay? Yeah. So then, now Sankalpa Bhavan Kaman, we have to, so that is what is talks about the determination and faith that we have to have. Sankalpa Bhavan Kamas Tyaktva Sarvaneshta. Now here Krishna says that we have to ensure all the calm. We have to ensure that all the material desires that we have, it has to be totally, we have to be totally devoid of that. We have to be pure, totally purified. That to the extent we have to have so much determined that Sarvana Sheshta, Tyaktva Sarvana Sheshta. We don't even have to allow anything inside us. We have to be very, very firm that no, we have, if we want to achieve God, we have to have extremely strong determination to say no to whatever is not favorable to achieve Krishna, right? God. Now it's like, someone is asking this, you say, okay, how many snakes you will allow inside your home? Yeah. So will you allow any snakes inside your home? So snakes are like desires. So if you want to be safe, you will not let any snake inside your home, right? So similarly, we cannot allow any desire, any material desire to actually be there. Otherwise, it will actually, what it will do? It's like, a big dam. What happens? If it's a big concrete dam, even if there is a small hole, what will happen? It will finally, with force, it will finally break the dam, right? So even if it's one snake or one desire is left, what will happen? It will break our sadhana. So we have to have so much determination and we have to have so much faith on the God, that with that we have to move forward. The yogi also have to move forward to finally achieve the samadhi, right? And then it says, Manai Sevendriya Gramam Vinayam Samantata. Manai Sevendriya Gramam is the man is mind, and Indriya. They are so strong. They are so strong that even if you try to control them internally, they it will try to harass you. But what we have to do is, we have to control that, because finally all these desires are temporary. It is very temporary. It is going to go away. So we have to ensure that we have to control all our senses from all sides, so that nothing should be allowed to percolate. Now there's a story about a king, Bhartuhari, about a gold ring. Now this king, he used to love his queen a lot. and he used to was extremely gaga over the queen. He used to really love his queen a lot. And what he did was he bought one of the finest gold ring and he gave it to the queen. Now, queen loved someone else. Queen was in love with the person who was managing the horse. He was a very well built, handsome person, and she was in love with this person. So the queen thought that, okay, let me go and give this ring to him. Maybe he'll get impressed by me. Now this person was in love with another girl. He thought, okay, queen has given me this, let me go and impress my girlfriend by giving this gold ring to her. Now this girl who was actually the horseman was in love with the girl. She wanted a very rich, and so she was in love with the queen. So what she did was she took the ring and went back to the king. Now when the king saw this ring back to him, he said that, oh, okay. And he was extremely surprised. Said, what happened? And finally he realized that this whole story he heard. And then so the thing is, the senses are so strong, and we have to really keep our mind. If you want to control things, we have to keep our mind and senses under control. These things are extra, these attraction between men and women is temporary. It'll go away. And if you don't control that, if you don't control your lust, it will actually make you fall, and you'll not be able to move forward in your spiritual life, right? Now we go to the next shlok. Shanai Shanai Ruparmed Buddhya Dhiti Grihitaya Atmasanstham Manah Kritva Na Kinchit Api Chintayet Shanai Shanai Ruparmed Buddhaya Dhiti Grihitaya Atmasanstham Manah Kritva Na Kinchit Api Chintayet. Mataji. Shanai Shanai Ruparmed Buddhya Dhiti Grihitaya Atma Samastam Manah Kritva Na Kinchit Api Chintayet. Now here Krishna says that you cannot control the mind. It's not that you decide today and from tomorrow everything will be under control. It doesn't happen like that. Shanai Shanai means slowly, step by step. Rupair Medya. What we have to do? We have to use our intelligence. Buddhya is you have to use the intelligence. Dhiti Grihata, and you have to use the intelligence to control, and the intelligence has to be used with full conviction. It has to be used with full determination. Dhriti is determination. Grihita is conviction. You have to use your intelligence with all determination and conviction, and then slowly you have to try to control your mind. Don't expect a change overnight. Nothing happens overnight. It is a process. So do that. And then Atma Sanstha Manah Kritva. And where the Manah is mind, and Kritva, what will you do? Where will you keep the mind? Atmasastha, focus it inwardly. Atmasastha, inside you focus it, and should not think of anything else. So let's read the meaning given by Srila Prabhupada. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction. And thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone, and should think of nothing else. Right? So Shanai Rupair Medya Buddhya. So by your intelligence, slowly calm your mind. Dhriti Grihatam. Dhriti is determination, with great determination and conviction. What is great determination and conviction? That yes, we will not allow the sensual activities to come inside and disturb. So basically, when you look at the Ashtanga Yoga path, the first 4 path, as we talked about, do's and don'ts, niyam and yam and niyam, and then you are doing asanas to control your, to bring the body under control, atma under control. Then we talk about meditation, yeah, and then we have pratyahar. Pratyahar is the next aruksha stage, where pratyahar, what you do, you actually start shunning your things for against sense activities. Start shunning all your senses against all the sense activities. That is what is pratyahar, and that you have to do slowly. You have to ensure that all your senses and all your mind basically gets stopped from all your sense activity. That is what is a pratyahar stage, right? And then use the intelligence of your mind. You have to use that, and with determination, you have to stop it. And then you have to internalize your mind, so that you're focused inside, and let should not think about anything else, right? So let's look at the next one. So when you do that, then what happens? Yato nato nischalati manah. Yato yato nischalati. Yato yato nischalati.
Yato yato nischalati.
Manaschachalam asthiram.
Manaschachalam asthiram.
Tatastato niyamyet tat.
Tatastato niyamyet.
Atmanyeva vasham nayet.
Atmanyeva vasham nayet.
Yato yato nischalati.
Yato yato nischalati.
Manaschachalam asthiram.
Manaschachalam asthiram.
Tatastato niyamyet tad.
Tatastato niyamyet.
Atmanyeva vasham nayet.
Atman eva vasham nayet.
So how you will do it? You have to slowly control in hot way. Yato yato nischalati. Whenever what happens? Nischalati is it wanders. What wanders? Mind wanders. Manas chanchalam asthiram. The mind is chanchal and asthir. It is always flickering. It is always chanchal and flickering. Tatas tato niyamye. Then at that time, what do you have to do? Niyamye. You have to regulate your mind. You have to regulate your mind. Atmaniyev Vasham, and you have to bring it back under control. Mataji, please read the Sanskrit one.
Yato yato nischalati.
Yato yato nischalati.
Manaschachalam asthiram.
Manaschachalam asthiram.
Tatastato niyamyet.
Tatastato niyamyetad.
Atman eva vasham nayet.
Atmanyeva vasham nayet. Yeah. So let's read the English meaning. From wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it. And bring it back. Under the control of the self. So, what is the natural behavior of mind? Yes. So, the natural behavior of the mind is chanchal. It is chanchal and it is asthir. It cannot be sthir, or it is chanchal and asthir. Yeah, it is flickering and unsteady. That is the basic behavior of the mind. And it wants to wander everywhere else. So what happens? This is the basic nature, but you have to control it. You have to control it. So whenever it's wandering anywhere, you have to control it, and we have to withdraw it from that particular thing and put it under control. So you have to cut the wings of the mind. The mind always wants to fly. So what you have to do? You have to cut the wings of the mind so that it gets restrained. You have to regulate it, right? And the mind, what does the mind likes to do? It always likes to think about past, or the Purvajanam sanskar which is there inside. So it will always try to do that, or it will try to think about the future, what's happening. But what we have to do is, we have to cut the wings and bring it back to the present and try to focus on what it is, right? So that is something we have to do. So what normally we are, all of us are normally Godas. Go means senses. Go means senses. Go also means cows. But go also means senses. And What are we all? We are normally, all of us are basically Godas. We are the servant of our senses. Whatever our senses will do, we want to actually go for it. But what we have to become, if we want to achieve Super Soul and Krishna, we have to become Goswami. It means whatever our senses like, it will try to go and attract and go towards that. What do you have to say? No to the senses. So whatever is the source, we have to cut that off. Whatever is the source which is attracting it, cut that off so that you are not distracted. You are not distracted and your focus, bring it back from there and explain to the man, no, that is wrong. You have to go back to Krishna. You have to go back to your Super Soul. That is how you have to bring back your, you have to from Godas, you have to become Goswami. You have to control and bring it back to the Goswami. So it's like, the story we all know about Dronacharya and Arjun, right? What did Dronacharya tell Arjun when he had to, he had to actually prick the eye of the fish? He says you have to only see the eye. You have to only see the eye. Concentrate only the eye. That's how we have to concentrate only in the Super Soul, and all other things that is going to distract us, we have to ensure we withdraw it. We have to have so much focus if we want to achieve Super Soul, that we are only able to see the Super Soul and look inwardly towards that, right? So we go to the next one. And if we do that, then what happens? If we are able to do that, then what will happen? Prashanta manasam yenam. Prashanta manasam yenam. Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Brahma bhutam aklamesham.
Brahma bhutam akalmasam.
Akalmesham. Prashantaman samyenam.
Prashantamanasam yenam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Brahma bhutam akalmasham.
Brahma bhutam akalmasham.
Mataji.
Prashanta manasam
Yenam.
anamsam enam.
Prashanta manasam yenam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Upaiti santarajasam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Brahma bhutam akalmasam.
Brahma bhutam akalmasham. So here what Krishna says is, if when we are able to control our mind and look inward, then what will happen? Prashanta manasam. Prashant means Shant means peace, and Prashant means unprecedented peace. What we will get? The man will get when we are able to control that, we will get unprecedented peace. Yoginam sukham uttamam, and we'll get uttamam happiness. Uttamam means great happiness, right? We'll get peak happiness. And upeti, how we get it? Upeti shant rajasam. Rajas is passion. By shanti, by basically controlling the passion, shant rajasam. Shant is calming down the passion. By calming down the passion, what will happen? The yogi will achieve Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham. Kalmasham means sinful reactions. Sinful activities is Kalmasham. Akalmasham means no sinful activities. And Brahma Bhuta stages, when you have achieved and you are totally in a stage of trance, you will achieve, the yogi achieves that. Yeah. So let's read the meaning of that. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me,
The yogi whose mind is fixed on me
really attains the highest perfection
really attains the highest perfection
of transcendental happiness.
of transcendental happiness.
He is beyond the mode of passion.
He is beyond the mode of passion.
He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme,
He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme,
and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds.
and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds.
Right? So when the yogi now in the forest is also able to control the mind internally, totally the man and indriya are totally controlled and is all focused inward towards the Super Soul. And if he is able to achieve Super Soul, then what will happen? He will get unprecedented peace. He'll get unprecedented peace, and he'll get Sukham Uttamam. He'll get the extreme happiness, and because he has actually taken control of the he has calmed all the passions, and he'll achieve, and he has achieved the Brahmabhuta stage. Means he's free from all material anxiety, and he's free from all sinful activities, right? So that's what it is. We go to the next shlok. Yunjanevam sadatmanam
Yunjanevam sadatmanam
yogi vigata kalmashah
yogi vigata kalmasah
sukhena brahma sansparsham
sukhena brahma sansparsham
atyantam sukham ashnute.
atyantam sukham asnute
Yunjanevam sadatmanam
Yunjanevam sadatmanam
yogi vigata kalmashah
yogi vigata kalmasah
sukhena brahma sansparsham
sukhena brahma samsparsham
atyantam sukham ashnute.
atyantam sukham asnute
Mataji.
Yunjanevam sadatmanam
Yunjanevam sadatmanam
yogi vigata kalmasah
yogi vigata kalmashah
sukhena brahma samsparsham
sukhena brahma sansparsham
atyantam sukham asnute
atyantam sukham ashnute. Now we talked about that. Now he is already inward focused, able to achieve, look into the super soul. Then what is happening? He's going to get the prashant. He is extremely calm. And now here in the shlok number 28, Krishna says, Yunjaneva sadatmanam. Sada is always. Atmana means in self, inside the self. Yunjaneva is always attached to that, is always connected to that. When he's always thinking of the God, then the yogi vigat kalmasha. Kalmasha is the sinful activity. He's free from all the sinful activities. When he said then, sukhena brahma sparsham. He'll get the extremely happiness by Brahma sparsh. He will get the extreme happiness by Brahma sparsh, by being that, touching the absolute truth. Yeah. Atyantam sukham ashnute, and he'll get atyant sukham again. He'll achieve the atyant sukham. So basically here he has reached the stage of the ultimate happiness. He's actually achieved, he's able to see the Brahma Jyoti. He has achieved that stage. In that stage he will be, right? So let's read it again. Thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination, and achieves the highest state of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Now, shlok number 28, 29, and 30 talks about, we talked about absolute truth, and we talked about the 3 stages of absolute truth, right? We talked about Brahma Jyoti, then we talked about the super soul inside the heart, and then we talked about Bhagwan, right? So this shlok 28 talks about that he has reached the able to see the first one, the Brahma Jyoti part. He has achieved that part, right? So if he's now, he's able to see, he's basically constantly engaged in the connected to the God, and constantly he's in meditation and practicing it, with all his control, with no sins. Then he's actually reaching the Brahma sparsh. He's touching the Brahma. So he is in the Brahmasmi stage, right? And he'll get atyant sukham, right? Now we go to the next slok. Here this talks about the first stage. The next slok talks about, now here from 29 to 32, it is more of a vision, how he will see it. So let's look at shlok number 29. Sarva bhutastatam atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. Madaji.
Sarvabhutastham atmanah.
Sarvabhutastham atmanam.
Sarvabhutani chatmani.
Sarvabhutani chatmani.
Ikshate yogi Yuktama
Ikshate yoga yuktatma
Sarvatra Samadarshana.
sarvatra samadarshana. So here Krishna says sarvabhuta stham atmanam. Sarvabhuta means of all living entities. Sarvabhuta is all living entities. Stham is situated. Atmanam, situated in the Atma, in the all living entities, he is situated in the Atma, that is the super soul. Sarvabhutani chatmani, and sees me and sees all living entities in me. Ikshate yoga yuktatma. Ikshate, now he's seeing yoga yuktatma and he's seeing Lord in everywhere. Sarvatra samdarshana, he's seeing everything as equal, right? So let's see what Prabhupada says. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same super Lord, everywhere. So here, when this is the next stage, the yogi will reach. Yeah, if when he's moving forward, he will reach this stage when he's seeing. Yeah, he's seeing. He understands that the super soul is in all body, in all living entities. The super soul is residing. Right? He has achieved this. Now he has understood from Brahmasmi to the move to the next stage of seeing the super soul, and he has reached the stage where he understands that the super soul is in each and every entity. Sarvabhutastam atmanam, in all the living entities, basically the super soul is residing. And he's also able to understand beyond that all of us are a part of him. He's also seeing everyone inside him. He's not only understanding that the super soul is in each and every living entity, but is also seeing that all the living entities are actually inside him. So he is the all pervading. Like Krishna says that everything, whether it is his part, he says everything is a part and parcel of me, right? And he says whatever living, it is material or spiritual things are, it is all my part, right? That's what this yogi is able to realize by his constant practice. So after Brahmasmi, if he continues his practice, he sees this stage where he says that super soul is in every living entity, and all living entities are a part and parcel of him. He's able to see that. Then Ikshade Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarsanam. And he says the same super Lord in everywhere, right? So he is basically becomes a samdarshana. Now here he also understand that we read that shlok where the when you achieve that stage, then you see that the soul is in a pandit, a Brahmin, elephant, a dog, a cow. He's able to see the spirit soul in all. Yeah, he's samdarshani. He's basically is mature to see that everything is equal. Although the soul is inside is equal in quality, but because of the karma, the body is separate, right? We can also think this from a story, like when a king, say he calls the farmers and he gives, say, one piece of land to each of the farmer, right? So the farmer only knows about what is happening in his land, but the king knows actually what is happening in all the lands, right? So it's like this. Now we go to the next shlok. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pashyati. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pashyati.
स च मे न प्रणश्यति.
This is a very important. So this is the next stage. Now when the yogi was able to see the super soul in everyone, and he was also able to see that everyone is actually a part and parcel of Krishna, right? Now here, if the yogi has reached that stage, yo ma pashyati. Pashyati means to see. Yo means whoever, ma means me. Krishna says, whoever able to see me, sarvatra. Sarvatra means everywhere. Yeah. Yo, those who, ma means to me, pashyati. Pashya means to see. Who are able to see me, sarvatra, everywhere. Sarvam cha mai pashyati. And are seeing, they are able to see me everywhere and sees everything in me. And they also seeing everything in me. Tasyaham na pranashyami. And to them, to such people, I'm never lost. Because they're whatever there is, they are always looking and connecting it to with Krishna. Na sacha me na prashyati. Neither I am never lost to them, neither they are ever lost to me. So if the yogi who reached the stage where anything and everything they are seeing, they're actually seeing me in that. We are seeing Krishna in that. Then what will happen? They are never lost. They will always achieve me. They are never lost. Prashati, they are never lost. They'll always achieve me. And I never lose them. I am always watching them because they are always in front of me. I'm always taking care of them. Understood? So when someone gets a vision, someone has a vision that anything and everything that you see is related to Krishna, it's happening because of Krishna, then what happens? Krishna, they will always relate it to Krishna, and Krishna will never leave them and will ensure that he takes you with him to Golok Vrindavan, right? So here it's like, the person who is like that is seeing just like this necklace that we wear. All the beads are actually strung in a thread. So he sees all the beads, anything that is happening is all basically connected to that string. Is that connected to that string? Nothing materially or spiritually is away from Krishna. Everything is because of Krishna and Krishna. Yeah. So he has understood that way. Now you think about Prahlad. What happened when his father asked? He says, yeah, Vishnu is everywhere. Is he in this pillar? He says, yes, he's in this pillar. Right? And then he broke the pillar and Narsimha came from out. Right? So what was he doing? He was seeing Vishnu. He had reached that level where he was seeing Vishnu everywhere. He had that power. He had that realization that he was able to see Vishnu everywhere. Right? And when his father asked, is he in that pillar? He said, yes, he is seeing in this pillar. And Krishna says, they are never lost to me. And Narsimha appeared from that pillar. Narsimha appeared from that pillar. He is also listening. He is also seeing that my devotee is saying that I'm inside that pillar, so I have to come out from that pillar. Isn't it? It is not only that devotee is seeing, but he is also seeing it. Right? Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever he would go, when he would see a river, he will think it's a Yamuna which is flowing. When he will see a mountain, he will think it's a Govardhan which is there. When he will see a cow and he will think it's a Vrindavan that he's there. In forest, he will think about Vrindavan. So whatever he is seeing is basically the vision that they have is so much, they're so exalted devotees that they're only seeing Krishna, and anything that they are seeing is related to Krishna only, right? Similarly, Prabhupada, when he met, you must have heard about Beatles. There used to be a group, right?
Yeah.
And George Harrison was one of the singers from there. So when he saw George Harrison, he wished that, oh, he says, he thinks so good. If only I could, he could come to Krishna consciousness, then he can sing and everyone will start listening to. And what happened? He became a devotee, isn't it? Huh? Sometimes what happened in our life, we get a huh? Yeah, it telepathy, it happened, right? And so sometimes what happens if you see that, if someone is a great devotee, someone is a devotee, and they believe that whatever is happening in my life is all because of Krishna. So it may happen that someone may get an extremely cruel husband, or someone may get an extremely cruel wife, or And what happens? They see that, okay, good, it is because that, you can go nearer to Krishna, because you are able to, you can't do anything, so you are thanking Krishna that, thank good, it happened, at least I'm becoming closer to you. Yeah, someone loses their husband, someone loses their wives, right? So they, if they are extreme devotee, what they say, they thank Krishna, okay, there must be something good, this is also, I'll take it as an opportunity for coming closer to you. Yeah, so that is how we can see that. Now think about Shabri. Yeah, na cha me prashyati. Now Shabri is guru, who was Matang Rishi. Matang Rishi told Shabri that you don't go now, you have to wait, because Ram will come to meet you. Yeah, so what she did, she was a great devotee and always remembered Ram, always remembered, was serving. So such a great devotee, the God never leaves them. And finally Ram came to meet her. She was such a great devotee that Ram himself came to meet her, right? So they are never lost. Krishna never leaves them. He comes himself to take them, right? Let's go to the next slok. Sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam
Sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam
bhajtyek katva sthitah ektam asthitah sarvatha vartamanopi
Sarvata vartamanopi
sayogi mai vartate
sayogi mai vartate
sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam
Sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam
bhajatyek ekatvam
bhajate katvam asvitah
sarvatha vartamanopi
sarvata vartamanopi
sayogi mai vartate.
sayogi mai vartate Sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam
Sarvabhuta
So yo mam
bhajate katvam astitah
bhajtekam twas astitah
sarvata vartamanopi
sarvatha vartamanopi
sayogi mai vartate
sayogi mai vartate. So now Krishna takes in this slok a step more forward. So now those yogi, sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam, those yogi who understand that sarvabhuta is all living entities, sthitam yo mam, mam means I am sthita is situated, I am sthita is situated in every living entities. This someone who understand bhajatye ekatvam asthita, and is also understanding and also praying ekatvam asthita, that I and the super soul which is in all is same. The yogi who has understood, who is able to see that the super soul in each and every living entity and I, Krishna, are the same. That is the next level. One sees Brahma, what do you call it? Brahma Jyoti, super soul, Bhagwan. Yeah. But then next he is able to also understand that they are not different but one. This slok talks about that they are not different but one. Sarvabhuta sthitam yoma. That if someone who understands that I am the one who is super soul and it's one, I am one, it's not different, then knowing that they will always remain with me in all circumstances. So let's read the meaning of that, what Prabhupada writes. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul,
who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul,
knowing that I and the super soul
and the super soul
are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. Understood? So the next level of the yogi is not only that he's focusing only on the super soul, but he is also now got to the next level, understanding that it is Krishna, and then he says Krishna and super soul, they are one. Then such, when someone has that intelligence, they'll always be in me in all the circumstances, right? Let's go to the last slok. Atmopamye sarvatra samam pashyanti Arjuna
Samam pashyati yo Arjuna.
Sukham va yadi va dukkham.
Sukham va yadi va dukkam.
Sa yogi paramo matah.
Sa yogi paramo matah.
Atmaupamyena sarvatra.
Atmaupayanya sarvatra.
Samam pashyati Sorjuna.
Samam pashyati yo Arjuna.
Sukham va yadi va dukkham.
Sukham va yadi va dukkam.
Sa yogi paramo matah.
Sa yogi paramo matah.
Mataji.
Atma Atma
Pamyena.
Upani Yena Sarvatra
Atmaupamyena sarvatra.
Samam Pashyati Yo Arjuna
Samam pashyati so Arjuna.
Sukham Va Yadi Va Dukham
Sukham va yadi va dukkham.
Sa Yogi Paramo Mata.
Sa yogi paramo mata. So here Prabhupada writes, he is a perfect yogi
He is the perfect yogi.
who, by comparison to his own self,
By comparison to his own self,
sees the true
sees the true
equality of all beings
equality of all beings
in both their happiness
in both their happiness
and their distress.
and their distress.
O Arjun.
O Arjuna.
Now here he takes it still one more level further. He says, now this yogi has understood that I and Super Soul are one, but he is also seeing the happiness and distress of all the. This person is now more compassionate. He's not only focused on himself and his happiness, but is trying to reach and look at the happiness and distress of others and trying to help them to take it away, trying to help them to understand and explain that, right? So that person is a perfect yogi. Because he says he's a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjun. So when he's seeing someone in distress, he feels a distress for that. When he sees someone in happiness, he feels the comparison. So he is very compassionate to all other living entities. And when they are in distress, he wants to reach out to help them. And when he's in, and how can you help someone? What is the best way to help someone? Is to bring them in Krishna consciousness, to help them understand that, to bring them closer to Krishna, because that is the ultimate happiness. That is the Sukham Uttamam. That is the ultimate happiness. So when when this yogi sees someone in distress, goes and reach out to that person and helps them to bring them to Krishna. And someone who is in happiness again explains and helps them to attach to Krishna. So he is more compassionate to all other living entities. So that is the higher platform for the yogi. Yeah. So with this, we will close today's class. This is the last slok. Next is a different section. So we'll take that section next time. Let us chant our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna.